Welcome everyone to the inaugural event of Connecting Experts to You interviews. I'm Monica Hassall, co-founder of Connect ADHD Coaching here in Australia. These interviews have been developed to connect you to the experts. These interviews are full of information that you need to know about, especially when there is an impact from ADHD or where executive function challenges are a feature of yours or your loved one's day-to-day experiences. With the best information, you can create strategies and supports to structure these impacts of performance. I'm very excited to welcome on board today Dr. Michele Toner from Perth in Western Australia. She is our #1 interview for a very good reason. Michele Toner was the first credentialed ADHD coach in Australia. Starting out as a high school teacher, she has since worked in the corporate, not-for-profit and small business sectors. Her PhD in 2009 and Masters of Special Education in 2001 both focused on ADHD. Currently, she works in her private coaching practice where her clients include executives, adults, parents, and students. Michele regularly consults with schools, universities, and workplaces to achieve the best outcomes for her clients. She's also a faculty member of ADCA, which is the ADD Coach Academy. And in addition to her professional work, Michele has a passion for advocating for people with ADHD and has done so since 1995. She served as the Executive Officer, Board President for LADS, which is the Learning and Attentional Disorders Society in Western Australia. She has also played a key role in the establishment of the newly formed consumer peak body, ADHD Australia. So Michele, welcome to the interview today.
Thank you for having me, Monica. I'm just thrilled to be here with you.
It's absolutely our pleasure, and you're looking fabulous too. So Michele, how did you come to be involved in ADHD coaching? As I said in the first part of my blurb, that you were the first ADHD coach in Australia. How did you happen upon this?
Well, I suppose I got involved in ADHD because there are members of my family who are diagnosed with ADHD. And as you would know, when a mother decides that they are there to support their child, then they make it their business to find out everything they can, and became involved in ADHD advocacy, and then started doing my research. And in my research, I became aware of coaching, and it just seemed like such a wonderful thing and a wonderful resource for people with ADHD. And so that set me on the coaching path.
So how would you describe your practice?
Well, I have a lot of fun at work. I really look forward to my job every day. I think I would say that I work with busy brains, really, of all ages. And what we do is find their unique way, the unique way of fitting in the world, celebrating their strengths, their unique strengths, and finding a way of making their ADHD work for them.
So what do you think are the benefits of coaching for people with ADHD?
Well, it's extremely empowering for someone with ADHD to go through the coaching process. I think what they do is they stop trying to fit into some mold that somebody expects them to be. They start to find their way of being in the world and then asking for that. It's a combination of modifying the way they do things and asking people to modify what they're asking of them. And they can become more assertive, and they become better at advocating. So essentially, they become their best selves.
That's fantastic. Many people are of the misunderstanding that ADHD is only in children. What age range of clients do you have in your practice?
Well, currently my youngest client would be 9. I don't often work with primary school children, but I have a 9-year-old client at the moment, and my oldest client is 70. So, you know, all ages, and each one has their own unique challenges and gifts.
Mm-hmm. Sure. So untreated ADHD can be detrimental to a person's ability to live up to their potential, and even more devastating is that it can affect someone's self-esteem and the way they see themselves. What would you say to someone who is anti-ADHD treatment or dismissive of ADHD as a diagnosis?
Well, really, I would ask them to inform themselves. And, once you're informed about ADHD and the devastating effects it can have on people's lives when it goes untreated, you would never, ever dismiss it. I think there is a lot of misconception about ADHD. There's a lot of trivializing because people think that the symptoms are actually quite benign, when in fact they are very impairing on a person's life. So find out more about it and take the time to talk to people with ADHD and see how it affects them before you make a judgment about it.
So there is a lot of negativity about ADHD in the Australian press. What can we as individuals do about that?
I think it's very important that we speak out when there is negativity, and I would urge people, if they read an article that bothers them, to write to the journalist, to write to the journalist's editor, and also to contact SANE. There's a program called SANE Stigma Watch, as you would know, Monica, and you can report a story that is stigmatizing. They always ask you if you've written to the journalist as well. And on the flip side also, there are some stories that are very positive about ADHD, and I would encourage people to let those journalists know that they appreciate their efforts. And SANE also has a good news story section. So when the journalist does the right thing, it's really important that you have them acknowledged via SANE as well.
Oh, that's really good information. Thank you, Michele. So what piece of advice would you give to parents of a young child with ADHD?
Yes, it's such a tough journey when you have a young child diagnosed with ADHD. Parents go through, there's such a journey that you go on. I think the first piece of advice I'd give them would be to find like-minded people, find people who support them and their children, and then not to try to fix their child and change everything about their child all at once, to pick a challenge that they want to work on, but to also celebrate their child's strengths, find them and find every opportunity to acknowledge them.
Yeah, wonderful. So similar question, what advice would you give to parents of an adolescent with ADHD?
Yeah, I think with parents of adolescents, that anxiety kicks in. And one adolescent said to me, whenever I leave the house to go out, I see the fear in my mother's eyes, and then I know she expects me to do something bad. So I think we need to trust that our children are going to go out and do their best, and be confident that they will find their way with the support we give them, and to let them know that you trust them and you believe in them.
So keeping in mind that coaching is about the client solutions, what is one of the most effective strategies that you have shared to support or empower your clients?
I think one of the most effective strategies really is, the magical thing that helps most people with ADHD is finding a way to make their time visible, because time is a black hole that swallows them. And when they learn to actually tame the time tiger, their lives change, and they have to find their own way of doing it. It could be a playlist which keeps them on track. It could be a visible timer. There are so many ways of doing it, but finding their way of seeing time is actually, I think, the most life-changing thing.
What has been your greatest coaching moment? When have you had goosebumps?
Oh, I've had so many, it's hard to choose, but there's one mum who comes to mind. She came to see me and she was almost in tears. She has ADHD and her two children have ADHD, and she'd been told that she had to get organized and have systems and routines, and she thought it was going to break her heart because she loved the free-spirited approach, but they were never getting to school on time. But she came in after our first session, and she had actually devised a wonderful morning routine for them that involved a lot of fun. And she found that as a result of that, there was more time for spontaneity. So finding that doing a little bit of planning meant that she could still dance with her children before they went to school, was wonderful. To see her despair turn to joy was absolutely beautiful.
That does sound beautiful.
Mm.
Who inspires you?
Oh, look, I have to say that my clients inspire me, but also the coaches. I teach people to become coaches, and I mentor a lot of coaches. So coaches inspire me because they come to coaching because they want to give to the world, make the world a better place. So people like you inspire me, Monica. You've started your business. You've gone out there. We all know it's not easy because coaching isn't huge in Australia for ADHD. We've had to go out and sell the concept of coaching as well as, get a clientele. So to see coaches go out there and change the world one client at a time, people like you, that inspires me.
Oh, thank you, Michele. Now, Michele, you have just released your book, The ADHD Go-To Guide, Facts and Strategies for Parents and Teachers, with Professor Desiree Silva. What excites you most about this?
Well, we love the fact that we wanted to write this so that it would be something that parents could pick up and use easily, open it up on any chapter and say, I want to target this, I want to target that. We wanted it to have scientific information in an easy to read format. So Desiree did the first half, the doctor side, and then I did the second half, the coach side. And, people are saying that it's easy to use and easy to read. And we had to reprint it. It was sold out in less than a month. It wasn't a huge print run, mind you, but it was sold out. And, people are just saying that it helps them and it helps their children. So we just love that it's making information accessible. We wanted to write it so it was accessible and also it was compassionate, so parents wouldn't be judged when they read it and they knew that we're on their team.
That's wonderful. Congratulations on all of the amazing work that you do for inspiring us at Connect ADHD Coaching. My husband Jonathan first met Michele in Perth a number of years ago, and we didn't even know what ADHD coaching was. The second he met Michele and heard about what she did, he was literally hooked. I've got goosebumps even just thinking about it. I remember him coming home excitedly and telling me about ADHD coaching and the difference it makes in people's lives, and the difference Michele has made in people's lives cannot be measured. So Michele, thank you so much for speaking with us today, and congratulations on the book, and best wishes for all of the work that you're going to do from now on. And thank you so much. Thanks again. Oh, any final words? Any final words?
Well, thank you for the invitation. And I think you and Jonathan are really wonderful coaches and professional coaches with a high level of training and commitment to evidence-based practices. So I'm just thrilled to call you colleagues, and I'm delighted to have been your first podcast. Thank you very, very much. What a great start to my day.
Thank you, Michele. We'll talk soon. Thank you,
Okay.
everyone.
Bye, Mon.